All right, cats. Okay, so as much as I really enjoy the Australian guy who does his demo, I thought this might be a little bit more helpful. So I hope you can hear me, and I'm going to set up this. It's a little bit jerry-rigged, and so I'm actually working upside down, but so hopefully it's right. Well, I know it is right side up for you. Okay, let's see, get that set. There we go. Okay, so here's my image. I have a ruler that has both centimeters and inches. I'm going to be measuring and doing the gridding on the drawing in centimeters. So keep that in mind. Okay, so to start, I wanna, because this is symmetrical again, I wanna split it in half because I'm going to make a template that is the negative, so this, so that when I'm building this piece, I have a cardboard template. When you cut your cardboard, be sure to give yourself enough to be able to hang on to on the outside here. But so I'm going to be cutting a template, but I don't need it to go all the way around. So I only need a template, and then I'll be able to turn the piece rather than have a full template. So first thing I want to do is find the center of this piece, and it's might seem like you can just eyeball that, but it's a lot more effective to measure. So also note that a lot of rulers, this one's pretty good, I'll show on this end, a lot of rulers have the 0 not quite at the end of the ruler. If you want to be very accurate, see here you can see, oops, sorry. Here you can see, here's the edge of the ruler, but here's where 0 actually starts, right? That's the inches side. On the centimeter side, here's where the 0 actually starts. So you don't want to line your ruler up to the edge of the line. You want to line it up to that line. Some people like to skip to number 1 just because it's easier that way, but yeah, just something to note. Okay, so here is, I'm setting the centimeter side down. You'll notice that a lot of your images that you print will have this type of view, and it's very, very common in ceramics to have the back side of the top rim in the photograph so that a person can get a sense of that depth, but that also then convexes the bottom, which can be a little problem when you're making a template from something. So what I like to do is, before I even start, I like to measure up to the lowest point. So I'm going to put my 0 here and then measure up to where the lowest point is, which looks like it is 1, 2, 3, 4 millimeters in. So I'm just gonna put a little line there. And then here I'll go 4 millimeters in again from the 1, 2, 3, 4. And here again, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so now I have a good baseline. There you go, connect the dots, right? Then I will take and just kind of transpose the base of this piece, right? So that that goes straight down, because obviously if I build it and I build it on a curve, right? If I start my building on a curve, that thing's never gonna stand up. So just transpose the line all the way down to your baseline, and that will give you a nice clean. So then this will be the base of that template that we built. Okay, so now I'm going to measure across the base, and I am gonna start with the 1 because that line is a little janky. So I'm just gonna start at the 1, and then I know that that base is 1, 2, 3 and a half plus 1. So 1, 2, 3 and 6 tenths. So what is half of 3 and 6 tenths? Well, that might be a little tough to figure out, but we know that half of 3 is 1.5. So there's 1.5, and half of 6 tenths is 3 tenths. So I'll count over 1, 2, 3, straight down to there. And so that's my center line at the bottom. I hope that made sense, right? So half of 3 centimeters is 1.5 centimeters. half of 6 millimeters is 3 millimeters, so you can just do the math that way. It's very math light. Math light, I like that word. Okay, so up on the top, I don't need to start with a hard line. I'm just going to measure now to the outside edges right here of the top. So again, I'm going to start on the 1, and that conveniently is exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 centimeters. So half of 7 is 3.5, right? So I'll count over 1, 2, 3.5 centimeters and make that mark. So now I know, now I have my halves. So here is this half mark, and here is this half mark, and I'm going to join those. There you go. You'll notice I'm using a green pen. We've got a lot of green pens in the studio. It's kind of nice on a black and white to draw with something other than black. Sometimes pencil is a little bit hard to find, hard to see. But okay, so now I'm only going to, let's see, I'm right-handed. I'm only going to do the right side of this because that's where, that's how I'll cut my template so that I can have that right side. Okay, so now I need to start at that baseline. Right, so I'm gonna start here, and I'm just going to land, there you go, land my first centimeter on the beginning, or on the center, and then I'm gonna measure over in single centimeter increments. And it's really nice to have this option to start with centimeters and then move to inches because it's a direct translation. But if you maybe printed your picture a little smaller and you look and, oh, it's only 8 centimeters tall, so then if you transpose that to inches, it'll only be 8 inches tall. That's too short for this project. It needs to be at least 12. So instead, you would then grid, you would still grid this piece in centimeters, but then when we go to our big piece, you would transpose, instead of into single inch grid, you would do it into a 1.5 inch grid or into a 2-inch grid. A 2-inch grid would give you 16, if it's, right, if it's 8 centimeters, 2-inch grid would give you 16 inches. If you do 1.5, that will give you 12 inches. So choices to make, right? Okay, so here I'm going to, again, start on the 1. I'm gonna grid over. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so now I'm going to, once again, connect the centimeters. And sometimes the light can play with you a little bit, and it's hard to actually see where the edge of the ruler is, so find yourself a place where you can see pretty well. There we go. This does wonders for making straight lines. You don't want to eyeball this. So this gridding system has been going on for centuries, and it is really, really handy for expanding a piece of art. You can also, if you've maybe done it in high school or junior high, you can use a screen that, or a kind of a camera that blows the piece up, which is kind of sweet. And you can just do them right on the wall. We used to have like overhead projectors that did it. We have a, oh, what do we call it? Some kind of an art camera that's in the matting room that works pretty well. They use it for in drawing or design, color and design, those kinds of things. But anyway, okay, so now you can see I've got all these nice vertical lines. Now I need to add the cross hatching, or the cross lines. So I'm going to take one of these straights. I'm going to start on this side, and again, just do the centimeters. And there we go, start on 1. You know what, actually, That was not a good idea. Changed my mind. If I start on this, I want to start on my baseline, right? So start on your baseline. Sorry about that. Start on your baseline instead of on your top line, because your baseline is going to be a nice anchor to get you rolling when you're expanding. So, okay, I'm on the baseline here. It's where you'll see how handy the green is because it shows up. 3, there we go. Okay, and then the same thing over here.
Hey, can I ask you, the next person for the room is here.
Terrific, thank you. All right, cats, gotta go. Somebody else needs the room, but I'll finish this soon.